What's up, traders? It's been a pretty good week. I actually finished, I think, 5 days in a row. I was pretty much green. A couple of small adjustments I have to do, but overall has been pretty much green for educational purposes only. So let's start out with the week. Um, Actually, it's been a really busy week. At one point, we were getting a little bit of anxiety because so much volatility that was going on. So let's start out with Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and so forth. So I showed up. My best trade on Monday has been pretty much EQ from $1 up to like 119. I actually ended up buying it again at about a dollar, and then we flushed. This is when we were in an actually we were in pretty a bearish market cycle in which tickers were not that strong. So you can see that if you don't stop out, if you buy, I bought it like 102 and then I stopped out at like a dollar. So my first buy was around a dollar and then sold it at like 119. This ticker didn't end up going much higher. It was pretty much flatline. So you can see that on Monday there was another ticker that I bought right about here, third time a charm to break 70 cents, and then it came back crashing. This was a pre-market combined with an opening range breakout failure, which is not really that often that you see this third time a charm, and then because this thing had room all the way up to 85. So I tried to get on the downtrend. Soon enough, I was waiting for a push towards 80. Soon enough, I took a loss on that one. You can see Ento lost. And then I tried another ticker on Monday. I think it was BJDX, was it? BJDX right about here. We have a higher high, it pushes, and I thought it's going to break the pre-market high. I got long and I got stuffed. And then the BJDX was extremely choppy. You can see how choppy this thing was. Very hard to trade and no range. So this is where things get interesting because on Tuesday we had a huge mover that squeezed all the shorts. And you can see that I have a huge gain here on ATNF. And a lot of people are like, how do you make profits? You have to understand like 80% of your profit come from like 20% of your trades. So soon enough, ATNF was the ticker that I traded the most, and I traded it pretty well. First long was around 5, and then I sold it at 520, and then I sold it into the 6-ish. I bought it again at 540, sold into the 6-ish, and then I bought it again at 630, and then I rode it all the way up to 8, and I even bought it again at 830, and I rode it up to 930. After 10, I didn't really rebuy it. I thought about buying it over 10, and then I was like, it's kind of overextended. But then again, we had a bunch of traders in the chat room selling it to the 12s, which I was pleasantly surprised. But after this downtrend broke right about here, around $6, we kind of went up to 12, which was insane for that day. So soon enough, now we have a little bit of momentum, and this momentum trickled in X4 that day. I tried to buy X4 about here one time, and then it actually grinded and then pushed to like 3, and I think it hit like 4 or 5. But initially, it moved very slowly. This was X4, and then I tried to trade Xena again from like the VWAP bounce right about here, and I got stopped out. So it was on Tuesday. I only had one good trade and two losses, but nevertheless, it was a good idea to pretty much capitalize on ATNF on the way up. My big trade over here to here was a good trade. Here to here was a good trade, and I seen some traders even buying it in the 10s and selling into the 12s. I was pleasantly surprised to see that. But soon enough, that was my PNL. You can see so on Tuesday. Tuesday was pretty strong. I tended to trade ATNF primarily, and you can see my last. I pretty much profited from this one. Moving on to Wednesday. Wednesday BSLK. I tried to go long around 4-ish, and then I pretty much got stopped out because I thought BSLK is going to be the big mover of after ATNF, and soon enough it was, but it actually took about till 10 o'clock to break this downtrend, and then pretty much ran to 9, which was ridiculous to tell you the truth. I only made a little bit there. I also traded MNTS. MNTS, I bought it around, I don't know, right about here, and then I pretty much try to sell 220, 230. I was pretty heavy on MNTS because after a strong ticker like ATNF, you're gonna have one strong ticker that really surprises. So MNTS ran from like 150 to 230 before selling off. But the only ticker that really performed well was BSLK. Had some wedges over here. A really nice wedge at 8, really nice wedge at 6, really nice wedge at 4. And I chose not to trade it for some unknown reason because I should have had and made some money. But nevertheless, I made some money in BSLK, made some money in MNTS on the way up here. Sadly, I had a pretty heavy position in MNTS, but I didn't sell enough at 230. I thought I'm going to make more than a 20% win, and I kept writing my winners. But unfortunately, instead of writing BSLK, I wrote MNTS. So MNTS only gave 25%, but BSLK just, after I made my morning move from 230 to 4, that was a good trade. BSLK ran in the afternoon, and I didn't catch any of it, so I was kind of bummed out. I think I was a little tired, to tell you the truth. But nevertheless, I finished the day green. You can see some nice wedges here in BSLK. Very nice. And you can see X4 here on the third that I initially bought in the morning, how it pretty much squeezed up to 360. So a lot of these tickers have performed well. Moving on to Thursday. Thursday, I traded my majority. I traded XPON. I traded over here when it had a higher high, got dumped on. I rebought it again at around 320. We hit 4. I actually held most till 4. We had a fake out breakout over 4. I got stopped out of that. So I got a stop out, a win. I added another win, a stop out, and then another buy here in XPON at around 390, and we hit like 550. But this ticker was very choppy because there was some resistance there at 4. And soon enough, we actually did spike to 550, but it took actually some time there, and it was this candle was incredibly volatile here. Hit 475 and back down to 375, and then we finally pushed. So that was a bummer. So my best trade was from 450 to 529. Moving on to Snoa. Snoa, what I thought about Snoa is that, it's either at 7 a.m. you have a 7 a.m. push, or at 7 a.m. you have a 7 a.m. dump. Usually when it has a 7 a.m. dump, it doesn't come back. It usually sells off. I had the right idea to go short Snoa. Unfortunately, I didn't hold it enough. This is not really my part of my setup or my playbook. I don't really go around saying, hey, you should short every ticker that, every ticker that dumps at 7 a.m. push, that's up 100%. But in this situation, we did do dump. So that was Snoa. BMRA, nice breakout there. XPON, nice breakout there. But, I only capitalized around 60, 70 cents on pretty high size. And yet I could have held that whole position down into the fives because it would have worked out pretty nicely. So Snoa, XPON, and then I traded BMRA. Where is BMRA? Oh, this was just a fake out breakout of the highs. Moving on to Friday, I still finished the day green. The majority of the trades I took, it was BSLK. BSLK was the first green day bounce. Sadly, when I went long at 9:30, I was a little bit jumpy, and instead of holding that 9:30 to this dip that we held 9 here, I actually exited prematurely, and then I added back in, and then I added back in, and then I eventually sold as we went into 11s. So I only ended up making a 10% win. Soon enough, we came back to VWAP, and we had some traders ride it all the way to 13 because I was pretty much a wussy. Because I was a little bit unsettled. I was unsettled because I traded like 3 tickers that failed before that. You can see, so it's here TIVC. I buy it on the trend. I get stopped out. I get back in long, and then I make 70 cents back. You can see PMNT. I buy it at 65 with a higher high 1 minute. I ended up making 10 cents and then cutting the rest for half. I bought it at 65 when we were doing a higher high. We hit 75, make 10%. I take half out and then I bail on the rest. And soon enough, these candles just pretty much scared the bejesus out of me. So I just decided to take it easy with trading. PMNT green, TIVC green, and there was another trade that I did take. Was it PPSI? I did think about this ticker that it would be a pre-market breakout combined with a daily breakout of 540. Since this ticker had earnings, but soon enough that daily breakout combined with the pre-market breakout ended up being resistance. So I'm glad I got out of that and I wasn't too stubborn, because that would have been a huger loss. Next ticker, TIVC PM. So you can see that BSLK was the primary mover for Friday, and PMNT was a 10% win, and TIVC was another 10% win. Soon enough, I did finish most of the days green. That's what matters. My goal for this week has been to be green each day, without any major losses. So I did achieve that goal. The only thing I did actually wrong this whole entire week, considering the fact that I respected most of my rules, was right here in XPON. Right here, as I was going long in XPON right about here around 390 for a moment there, I actually flipped short, and this ticker spiked from 390 to 475 while I was short, and then it came back to freaking 490, and then I took it off for negative 20 cents. So thank God I did that. Otherwise, I would have been a little bit in big trouble. So just not don't flip short on a ticker that's above VWAP and is holding trend just because it had a breakdown on the trend line over here. You can see that it had a breakdown on the trend line for about 20 cents for a minute. Does not make it a short, because soon enough the longs came in, the shorts got trapped, and soon enough we spike up for dollar. So that was a little bit unsettling. Other than that, that was pretty much the whole week. We'll be live streaming for an hour each Monday through Friday. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and give a thumbs up and attend our 1 hour per day weekly live streams. After that, we'll be going to private Discord, and make sure you take advantage. It's only for the first month, it's half off, so take advantage of the sale, because I will be taking it down soon. And as the market gets better and better, make sure you get into my private Discord. Like I say before, it's only about half off for your first month, and after that, it's up to 150. So first month is for the newcomers, and after that, 150 month to month. Other than that, see you all in my next video. Hope you guys had a great, relaxing weekend, and see you all later. Peace out.